People First podcast is a show presented by people with learning disabilities. For our friends and community, we talk about issues that are important to us and interview interesting guests to find out new information. This is our way to make a difference.
Welcome to the People First podcast. We are having our Christmas special on our podcast for December. I chose this episode when we did the interview with Hannah. This is because it's my favourite interview. And my question was, what has been your best moment at People First, Keithley and Craven? What has been your best moment at PFKC?
Do you know, there's been so many, and I've sort of thought about this question over the past few weeks and months, really. So every day it's something new, and there's something that's sort of a best bit of each day, really. But there's been a couple of big projects that I'm incredibly proud of. One is the learning holiday. Again, you know, that came from an idea I had probably in 2011-12. And one of my great passions in life is cooking, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if we could have a cooking holiday, but for people with learning disabilities, so that people could come away and learn how to cook and do other things. And that's literally where the learning holiday came from. Again, it's unique to People First, Keithley and Craven, and over the years those learning holidays have actually transformed some people's lives, health-wise, both physical health and emotional health as well. So that's been a massive achievement, and I'm super proud of those, and I hope they continue to grow and develop. The radio station obviously is massive. I'm super proud of that. And I think some of then what you might call smaller things, but they're not small because they've made massive differences to people. But when people have decided that actually they feel old enough or grown up enough or mature enough that they want to move home and, you know, move out of mum and dad's or wherever they're living, and that with support from People First to build the confidence and the skills, they've been able to do that, I think. The taxi campaign was massive, and again that made a real difference to people's lives. And when we first looked at that campaign, and a lot of disabled people said to us, please don't do it, please don't challenge the prices because they'll just stop coming and picking us up. But it needed to be challenged, and we did. And again, that's made a huge difference to people. So there's been lots of sort of big campaigns, if you like, but it's the little wins every day where you come in every day and you see people making friends, enjoying being with each other, supporting each other. The peer support of People First is absolutely amazing. But yeah, there's just been too many really I wish I could just have a big list for you all, but I wouldn't know what to pick out really.
My name is Oliver. I work on tech and social media for the podcast. The Ask the Community Champions was my favourite episode because I enjoyed hearing Susie's answers. I chose this clip because it's similar to the other questions, so it's a good clip. Also helps other organisations to get funding. can any organisation apply for help from our community champion?
Yes, if they're a local group and they fit into our funding criteria, because we have to check out all the groups who apply to make sure that we're supporting the right people. So as long as they fit our criteria, then yes.
Hi everyone, Kenny here. This is my favourite because Saba writes stuff about her sisters in her book. We interviewed Saba and Sean and they told us some interesting stuff about what they do. Saba really knows Sean really well. They met each other in Leeds. Saba's sister had a learning disability. Sean lives independently on his own. Saba asked her sister if she could write about her in one of the chapters in the books. The best question was, where can we read more possible or find out new information? Where can we read Made Possible or find out more information about it?
So Made Possible should be in every good bookshop. So you can go into your local bookshop and see if they have it there. And if they don't, they can always order it in for you. Or you can get it online wherever you usually buy your books. If you want more information, part of Sean's chapter is actually in The Guardian. So if you're on the internet and you just write in Sean Webster, The Guardian, Made Possible, it should come up with part of Sean's essay, Sean's chapter. And otherwise, you can look on social media. On Facebook, there's a Facebook page for the book. It's just called Made Possible. So if you put that into Facebook, it should come up. And otherwise, generally on social media, I tend to mention the book quite a lot, even now, 3 years after it was published. And if anyone wants any more information, you can always just ask us. We're very approachable, aren't we, Sean?
We are. We're very approachable and very laid back.
So where would you find the website if you wanted to listen to it and everything?
So if you want to find out about Made Possible, you can have a look on my website, which is sabasalman.com. And if you want to find out about Community Living Magazine, you can just punch in communitylivingmagazine.com. And hopefully both of those things will get you some more information.
Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Tom here. My favourite episode was the interview the guys did with me and Tracy from Big Soup. It was a bonkers interview and was loads of fun. The question I've chosen was about stage stories and involved a lot of laughing. Here is a clip to give you an idea of how crazy the episode was. Hope you enjoy.
Have there been any funny stories from Sean that have happened?
There's been loads, Graham.
Yeah.
Absolutely loads. I don't know if I can mention many of them, because like I say, these are adults. These guys are adults. But there were one lady who found saying Willy Wonka very difficult. And she always used to say, are we doing Ballywonka today? And I'd say, it's Willy Wonka. And she'd go, yeah, that's what I said, Ballywonka. And I'd say, no, it's Willy Wonka. So every time we did Willy Wonka, I had to actually say, it's Willy Wonka, love. Yeah, got that. She'd go, yeah, I've got it. I said, are you sure? She'd go, yeah, Willy Wonka. I go, brilliant. So she finally gets it right. And then on the night I went out and I said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show, Ballywonka. Couldn't believe it. I nearly died. After all of the months telling her it's Willy Wonka, I'm not sure you'd be able to pull that out, but I actually got it wrong and I said Ballywonka. I couldn't believe it, and the audience just went like, oh my word, is there a little all I can just go, so that were embarrassing. That were really embarrassing. And then we had mics on stage, and people forget they've got the mics on. So one girl had a mic on backstage, and I said, and they lived happily ever after. She said on mic, no, they effing don't. And I went, Well, some might not, because I don't think she realised they were on mic, and that was quite embarrassing. Well, and then we've had prop mishaps and,
The one time when, weren't you in town chained to the fence or something?
Yeah, we were doing an on-location shoot and we were doing Votes for Women. From Mary Poppins. And we went round the green. We okayed it with council, said, yeah, we can go. And when we went down there, because we didn't have enough women, I had to dress all the men up as women because we just didn't have the cast. So I said, you're all women. And some of the women looked great, but some didn't. And so we went down, and so we started marching round the green going with our placards going, votes for women, votes for women. And as we got round, a load of people from Keighley said, is it a gay pride mark? I said, no, it's not. It's actually, we're filming. What for? And so we're saying, votes for women. And they go, well, women have got votes, didn't you know? And it goes, yeah, it's a show, it's Mary Poppins, votes for women. They didn't get it anyway. So in this thing, one of the men comes and tries to drag a placard off the lady, and saying, never mind, we're down with women and blah, blah, blah. And it's written in the script and everything, and we were tied to a chain, and me and my friend are tied to the railings, not real, but, because I've got some good railings down in Keighley. And we're going, screaming and everything like that. And next thing we know, this guy pulls a banner off him. So the lady pulled the banner back off. And then two guys tried to kick this have a fight with us, like that. What are you doing? I said, no, it's a show. There's cameras, like that. So that was quite funny. And doing that, we did the haka outside as well, a Yorkshire haka, which is pretty good. We rewrote a haka, which the All Blacks rung us and said, that was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, for me, in Vampire Empire, there was, in the end up, there were, we mentioned it earlier, there were 3 vampires, Vladimir, Finbar and Fury. And we got to, I think it was 3 weeks before show night.
Yeah.
And we'd got it, so then, I think it was, Vladimir had got killed.
Yeah.
But then we were like, well, there's Finbar and Fury. So how's Fury going to get killed? So we decided that that Vladimir had come out, called for Fury to get the crossbow. Called for Igor to get the crossbow. And he'd come out, tried to kill the dry bone daddies. Yeah, this is how crazy the shows actually are. And he misfires the crossbow, kills the servant, so kills Vladimir. So then I had to, I think it were it Joe?
Yeah, Joe, yeah.
Were pushing me across the stage. So then I had to be like, no, the other way. Back the other way. No, stop. So then it were back. So like, oh, you can't get to stabbed these days.
Yeah, that was
so,
right.
well.
So she said, quick. He goes, quickly, push me, quickly. So she starts pushing him and he goes, no, not that way, the other way. So he goes, no, not that way, that way. So he pushes her and then he goes, adds his own line, you just can't get the stuff.
Yeah.
He does this a lot, but it's good. It's always good.
So it must have taken about 6 attempts to get it right without me laughing. Yeah. And on the night, we'd got the sound effect of the crossbow and everything. And I were doing the facial expression of turning to Igor and looking shocked.
Yeah.
So I knew what were coming next, and I could feel myself wanting to crack out laughing. And I were like, don't laugh. So I was like, just let this scene be over. So I went backstage, and I couldn't look at anyone, because I was like, everyone's lined up, ready to go on. I'll just set them all laughing.
Yeah. It is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at us smiling. That shows you, doesn't it? That you just...
Yeah.
Jmenuji si, Pacas.
I enjoyed podcasts, internet, museum, because I took good photos.
Can you explain the current exhibition for us, please?
I can explain the exhibition. It's called Any Work That Wanted Doing. And so I've just talked about my research. I told you a bit about that. So this is disabled artists who've made some new artworks that are responding to that research. They're thinking about the things that have come up from that research, and they're thinking about disabled people's lives in the past, but they're also thinking about disabled people's lives today. The title of the exhibition, it's Any Work That Wanted Doing, it comes from somebody giving evidence way back in 1833 about how working in a textile mill had made him become disabled, and he's saying that he had to do any work that the mill owners wanted him, told him to do. So that's where the title comes from. So it's a disabled person of the past who said that. Yeah, but the artists here, there's 8 new artworks, and they're all placed amongst the museum's collections. So they're next to textile machinery, or the hanging in the windows of the museum. And I should say that the museum used to be an old textile mill. It was a woolen mill way back in the past. So it's really good to be able to show the artworks here in what was an old museum. And the idea that it gets people thinking and talking about disabled people's lives. And again, I think we've been doing a bit of that this morning.
Hello, my name is Luke DeMame, podcast presenter. My favourite episode of 2023 was the one we did with Poppy, the illustrator. It was my favourite because Poppy was very good at explaining about grief case, as this is important for people who have lost family and friends in their past. Here is a clip of why Poppy became an illustrator. What made you decide to become an illustrator?
I loved drawing as a kid. It was a real outlet for me. I just loved having the chance to express myself with the pens and pencils, and yeah, I felt very free when I was younger to do artistic work, and it was something that not that it was the only thing that I was good at, but it was the thing I enjoyed most. So I wanted to carry on doing something that I loved, yeah.
So this Me Festival was my favourite episode because I liked what's going on that day. Then I went to the festival and enjoyed it in person. I think this question spurred out to me, so I hope you enjoyed listening to it too.
Do you have any other activities for the festival?
There's lots and lots of activities going on at the festival this year, more than we've had in previous years. So you'll have to help me out because I can't remember all of them, but we've got the Owl Adventures. So we've got Birds of Prey, and they'll be doing sort of live flying shows. We've got Heart Animals, who they usually come with an alpaca and a donkey and various other animals. We've got KL Ponies, which is a therapy pony. Then we've got this year we've got a well-being area, where we can do yoga and tai chi, and there'll be lots of stands to look at with different activities. We've got Open Country, who are going to have a bicycle that you can make smoothies. So if you pedal, you get the smoothie maker making you a nice smoothie drink. We've got a clown, Marco the Clown. We've got a magician. We have got
pirates. They're going to be doing lots of tricks and activities for art activities with the young people.
we've got badge making, we've got face painting, we've got everything. We've got loads and loads of activities. I'm trying to think what else. So we've got Harrogate Football Club are going to do a penalty shootout. We'll have lots of people dressed up as different characters out of, like Paw Patrol and things like that. We've also got games. So we've got a raffle, tombola, Flicker Frog. I think they're busy. The staff are busy making that. I'm not sure how safe that's going to be, but they're busy with that at the moment. It looks very exciting out in the garden here.
Hey everyone, this is Jane. My favourite episode was the one that we did with Down syndrome training and the support. This is because my sister has worked with people with Down syndrome. It was a really interesting to learn more from Wendy. My question was about funding and how much it is to really run a group like this. How do you get funding? Do you get funding from National Lottery or fundraise?
Both. It's a big challenge, is funding. We employ somebody who does that for us. She's part of our team, so she's sort of doing the finances thing. We have got some National Lottery funding, and we got it in March 2020, just before lockdown, and that's due to expire in 2025. So next year we're going to be trying to find some more National Lottery funding, because that funds about 40% of everything. The rest of it comes from lots and lots of small funding bids. A lady called Charlotte's busy doing all the time, and fundraising events. So yes, that itself is a big job. Yeah, as you can imagine. Yeah.
Keep you busy.
Yeah. Everything keeps us very busy. Yeah.
This is Shannon. I enjoyed the episode with Zappa and Sean. It was my first podcast. I liked the questions I asked. How she wrote about her sister with a learning disability. You wouldn't know if someone had a learning disability by reading their words. Saba was right. Do good by her sister so she could share her stories. It was great. Saba's sister chose to share. I'm happy for her to move into supported living, live her own independent life.
How did you know to write about your sister?
Absolutely. So how did I know how to write, or how did I?
Like, how did you know she had a learning disability if you were writing about her in a book like that?
Thank you. That's such a great question. I don't think we've been asked that before. So it's really, it's a really good question. I asked my sister's permission if I could write about her life. I actually asked her if she wanted to write one of the chapters, because the way the book is produced is I write an introduction about my family's life and my sister, and I sort of talk about some of the wider themes in the book. And then there's 8 chapters which are directly written in people's own words. And when I asked my sister, Rana, do you want to have one of the chapters? She told me no. She is a woman of few words, and she knows her own mind. And she basically did not want to, for whatever reason, I like to think it's not because she didn't want to work with me. Hopefully that's not the case. But she said she was very happy for me to speak to her and then to include her words in the first part of the book, the introduction. And the reason why I thought people would be interested in hearing about her life is because I really felt that there are not enough of these stories out there. So if you go into a bookshop, you'll see lots of books about how to be a success, how to find motivation, how to live your life. And they're great books, but actually there are voices missing in all of those. And I felt that my sister's voice, and I felt that the voices of people like Sean and all the other people I've met through my journalism, where were those voices? So I felt there was a gap, and I wanted to produce something that showed people what we are overlooking. And I also felt that it wasn't good enough for me to go off and interview someone and then write up their words in my words. I wanted the stories to be written directly from the point of view of that person. So it was about the I, it was about people themselves, not just me writing about someone in my words, but it was someone's direct voice, which I think is much more powerful. So that's kind of how it worked. I hope that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
This is Graham, and my pick for the special podcast is the Autism Awareness Show. We did. I think this was the best podcast because the information about autism was very important to share, and I'm glad we had the chance to be able to talk about autism on the show. This was my part of the podcast, which was explaining what is autism.
First, Graham wanted to give us definition about autism. Explain to us what it is.
Autism spectrum disorders, ASD, is a developmental disability caused by differences in the brain. People with ASD also have often a problem with social communication and interaction, and restricted or repetitive behaviors or interest. People with ASD may also have different ways of learning, moving, or paying attention. Some people with ASD have a non-different and is a genetic problem condition. They're hardened and they're not known. Scientists believe there are multiple causes of ASD that act together to change the most common ways people develop.
This is Alex. I like what I say in the podcast room. What is your plan for the future? We all work as a team in the podcast room. Thank you. What is your plans for the future?
Well, I think that it's really important to continue in that mission that we've just described, to enable disabled people to find the answers and solutions that are going to make living with a disability easier, quicker, stronger, better. And that means incorporating not only organisations that deal specifically with disabled people, but also every organisation, every person, every group. I want to see more, let's say, car manufacturers advertising Enable. I want to see, adverts that you might get on TV for a mainstream audience Enable. I want to see a normalisation, if you like, of disability. I think our end game, if we've got one, is that disability isn't them over there, and able-bodied people isn't them over there. It's everybody together. That's what I want to see more of. I think that's my outline of what I'd like to see in the future.
Hi everyone, it's Adam here. I am the podcast lead at People First, Keithley and Craven, and we've come to the end of our show. It's been a really fantastic Christmas episode with the guys sharing all their favourite moments across the last 12 months for the podcast. It's been a really great year for the podcast. We've done so much, attending events, interviewing some really great high-profile guests, but also a couple of fun ones along the way too. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of our podcast members for all the hard work that they've done over the year. A big thanks to all the guests who came in to speak to us, to give their time and their insight into whatever we were asking them about. Thank you so much for giving the time to come and talk to us. And then a last one, big thanks to all the listeners out there who make the show possible and support the show by telling your friends, sharing and listening along. Help us grow, because without you, we wouldn't have a podcast at all. So a big thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next year in February. We're going to take January as a break to do some work on the podcast for the next year. So we'll be releasing shows in the first week of February. And we've got some really exciting plans for next year to keep the podcast growing. So we're really excited. We hope to see you then. Have a lovely Christmas.